Hey everyone! Tonight we're jumping into the dark and sneaky world of medieval assassins. This is a place full of danger, secrets, and tricks. It's not just a boring history talk. You'll smell the wet, muddy streets, feel the heavy knife hiding in your cloak, and walk in the shoes of people who lived and died in the shadows. Before we begin, press the like button if you love exciting stories. Also, click subscribe to get more fun tales. In the comments, tell me where you're watching from and what time it is. Now, turn down the lights, get cozy, and let's step into the world of medieval assassins. We won't just learn facts. We'll feel the heartbeat of their fears, their hard times, and their tiny wins. Imagine you're in a big old city from long ago. It's the medieval times, way back when knights rode horses and kings lived in huge stone castles. The streets are narrow and twisty like a maze. They're covered in mud that sticks to your shoes. The air smells damp, like wet dirt after rain. Somewhere nearby, a dog barks and you hear the clatter of wooden carts rolling by. This is the world where assassins live. They're people who sneak around, hiding in the dark, waiting for the right moment to do their secret jobs. Their lives are risky, and every day could be their last. An assassin isn't like a regular person. They don't go to a normal job like selling bread or fixing shoes. Instead, they have a dangerous task. They might have to stop a bad person or help someone powerful by getting rid of their enemy. But it's not easy. They have to be super quiet, like a cat sneaking up on a mouse. One wrong move and they could get caught. If that happens, they might end up in a cold, dark dungeon or worse. Being an assassin means always watching your back and never trusting anyone completely. Why would someone choose this life? Well, some didn't have a choice. Maybe they were poor and needed money to eat. Others might have been trained from when they were kids, taught how to move silently and use a sharp blade. Some assassins worked for big bosses, like lords or even kings, who paid them to do secret things. But no matter why they started, their world was tough. They lived in a time when life was hard for almost everyone. There were no fancy machines or cars. People walked everywhere and many houses were small and chilly, with no heat except a smoky fire. Let's picture what it's like to be an assassin waking up in the morning. You open your eyes in a tiny room. It's above a noisy tavern where people drink and laugh late into the night. The room is dark, with just a little light sneaking through a cracked wooden shutter. The air smells like old wood and something sour, maybe spilled ale from downstairs. Your bed is just a pile of straw on the floor, covered with a thin blanket. It's not comfy, but you're used to it. You stretch and feel a little sore from practicing your sneaky moves yesterday. You stand up and pull on a plain cloak. It's brown and a bit worn, perfect for blending into a crowd. Under the cloak, you hide a small knife, sharp and shiny. That knife is your best friend, but also your biggest secret. If anyone saw it, they might guess what you are. You tie your boots, which are scuffed and muddy, and take a deep breath. Today might be a big day. Maybe you have a job to do, or maybe you're just waiting for a message from your boss. Either way, you have to be ready for anything. Now step outside. The street is alive with noise and movement. A man pushes a cart full of apples, shouting to sell them. A woman carries a basket of bread, her face tired but kind. Kids run past, chasing a scruffy dog. The ground is wet from last night's rain and your boots squish in the mud. You pull your hood up to cover your face. Nobody needs to know who you are. You walk fast, keeping your eyes open for trouble. In this world, danger is everywhere, like a shadow that never leaves. Being an assassin means you're always a little scared. Not the kind of scared where you scream and run, but a quiet fear that sits in your chest. You worry about getting caught. You worry about someone betraying you, like a friend who might tell your secrets for a handful of coins. You worry about making a mistake, like tripping while you're sneaking into a rich person's house. That fear keeps you sharp. It makes you check every corner and listen to every sound. It's like a game, but one where losing means you don't get to play again. But it's not all bad. Sometimes you feel proud. When you finish a job perfectly, like slipping in and out without anyone noticing, it's a good feeling. You're good at something not many people can do. You know how to climb walls, hide in tiny spaces, and move without making a sound. You're like a ghost, there 1 second and gone the next. That skill makes you special, even if nobody can ever know. The medieval world is full of other people too, not just assassins. There are farmers growing food, blacksmiths making swords, and merchants selling colorful cloth from faraway places. Everyone has their own story, but they're all connected. The assassin's story is just one piece of a big puzzle. Maybe you work for a lord who wants to stay powerful. Maybe you help a group of rebels who want to change things. Whoever you work for, you're part of something bigger, even if you feel alone. Let's talk about the city again. It's not just streets and mud. There are tall stone walls around it, built to keep enemies out. Inside, there's a big church with a pointy roof, where bells ring every few hours. The church is important because people go there to pray and feel safe. But even the church isn't always safe for you. Priests might suspect you're up to no good, and they have a lot of power. You have to be careful, even when you're just walking past. The city has a castle, too, up on a hill. That's where the lord or baron lives. He's the boss of the whole place, and his guards are everywhere, wearing shiny armor and carrying long spears. You avoid them as much as you can. If they catch you, they won't ask questions. They'll throw you in a cage or worse. The castle is beautiful, with big windows and colorful flags, but it's also a reminder that someone is always watching. What's it like to live in a world like this? It's hard, but it's exciting too. Every day is different. One day you might be hiding in a haystack, waiting for a target to walk by. The next, you might be in a crowded market, listening for secrets. You never know what's coming, and that keeps your heart racing. But it also makes you tired. You can't relax, not really. Even when you're sitting by a fire, eating a bowl of soup, your mind is working, planning, watching. Food in this world isn't like today. There's no pizza or ice cream. Most days you eat bread that's hard and chewy, maybe with some cheese or dried meat. If you're lucky, you get a bowl of stew with carrots and onions. Water isn't always clean, so you drink ale instead. It's not strong like beer today, just enough to keep you from getting sick. You don't eat a lot, so you're always a little hungry. That hunger makes you tougher, but it's not fun. Clothes are simple, too. You wear a tunic, which is like a long shirt, and pants that are scratchy. Your cloak is your favorite thing because it keeps you warm and hides your face. Shoes are leather, but they wear out fast in the mud. You don't have a closet full of outfits. You have one set of clothes, maybe two if you're doing well. When they get holes, you patch them with a needle and thread. It's not fancy, but it works. The weather matters a lot in this world. If it rains, the streets turn into a sloppy mess, and you have to be extra careful not to slip while sneaking around. If it's cold, your fingers get stiff and it's harder to hold your knife. If it's hot, you sweat under your cloak and it's hard to stay hidden. The seasons change how you work. In winter, it's dark longer, which is good for sneaking. In summer, there are more people outside, which can help you blend in but also means more eyes watching. Being an assassin means you know a lot of tricks. You can climb a wall by finding tiny cracks to hold onto. You can pick a lock with a thin piece of metal. You can make poison from plants, like mixing berries that look pretty but are deadly. You learn these things because you have to. If you don't, you won't last long. But learning isn't like going to school. There's no teacher with a chalkboard. You learn by doing, by watching others, by making mistakes and hoping they don't cost you everything. Sometimes you work alone, but other times you're part of a group. There might be a secret club of assassins, like a hidden family. They teach you, give you jobs, and protect you, but only if you follow their rules. Break those rules and they might turn on you. Trust is hard in this world. Even your best friend could sell you out for a bag of silver. You want to believe in people, but you've seen too much to be careless. What's a day like for an assassin? It starts early, before the sun comes up. You check your tools, your knife, a rope, maybe a tiny bottle of poison. You eat a quick meal, something small to keep your strength. Then you head out, maybe to meet someone who has a job for you. They'll whisper a name, a place, a time. You don't ask why. You just nod and start planning. The rest of the day is waiting, watching, moving carefully. When night comes, that's when you work. The dark is your friend, hiding you from prying eyes. Money is important, but it's not like today. There are no credit cards or ATMs. You get paid in coins, usually silver or copper. A good job might earn you enough to eat for a month. A bad job might get you nothing but trouble. You hide your coins in a secret spot, like under a floorboard. If you're smart, you save some for a day when you can't work anymore. But that day feels far away, and today you need to eat. The city is loud, but it's also full of quiet places. There are alleys where nobody goes, perfect for hiding. There are rooftops where you can watch the streets below. There are secret tunnels under the city, used by thieves and assassins like you. These places are your world more than the bright, busy market or the fancy castle. You know every corner, every loose stone, every spot where you can disappear. Sometimes you hear music. Maybe it's a lute playing in the tavern, soft and sweet. Maybe it's drums during a festival when the whole city dances and forgets its troubles. You like those moments. They remind you of a life you might have had, one where you didn't have to hide. But you can't stay long. You have work to do, and the music fades as you slip back into the dark. Festivals are fun, but they're also good for your job. When everyone's busy celebrating, it's easier to move around without being noticed. You might sneak into a feast at the castle, dressed as a servant, to get close to your target. Or you might use the noise of fireworks to cover the sound of your footsteps. The city feels alive during these times, and you feel a part of it, even if nobody knows who you are. There are other dangers besides getting caught. You might get hurt, like cutting your hand while climbing a wall. There's no hospital, just a healer who might rub herbs on your wound or wrap it in dirty cloth. If you get sick, it's even worse. A bad fever could keep you in bed for weeks, and if you don't work, you don't eat. You try to stay strong, but it's not always up to you. What about friends? You have a few, maybe. There's a girl who sells flowers in the market, and she always smiles at you. There's an old man who fixes boots, and he tells you stories about the city. You like them, but you keep your distance. If they knew what you do, they might not be so friendly. You tell yourself it's better this way, but sometimes you feel lonely. The church is a big part of life, even for you. You might not pray every day, but you believe in something. Maybe it's God, maybe it's just luck. You light a candle sometimes, asking for help to stay safe. The priests talk about heaven and hell, and you wonder where you'll end up. You've done bad things, but you had to. You hope someone up there understands. Death is always close in this world. You see it in the market where a thief gets punished. You see it in the streets where a fight ends with a knife. You see it in your own work when you finish a job. It's not something you like, but it's part of who you are. You try not to think about it too much. You focus on the next job, the next coin, the next day. What's the hardest part of being an assassin? It's not the sneaking or the fighting, it's the secrets. You carry them inside you, heavy like stones. You can't tell anyone who you are or what you've done. You lie to everyone, even the people you care about. That lie grows bigger every day until it feels like it's all you are. But you keep going because stopping means giving up. Sometimes you dream of a different life. Maybe you'd be a farmer with a little house and a garden. Maybe you'd travel to faraway places, seeing new cities and meeting new people. But those are just dreams. This is your life and you're good at it. You don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's true. The city changes just like you do. New people come, old ones leave. Buildings go up, others fall down. But some things stay the same. The mud in the streets, the bells in the church, the shadows where you hide. This is your home, even if it doesn't always feel like it. You know it better than anyone, and that's what keeps you alive. Why do we care about assassins? Because their stories are exciting, but also because they show us something about people. Even in a hard, scary world, people find ways to keep going. They learn, they fight, they hope. Assassins are just one kind of person, but their lives tell us about courage, about choices, about what it means to survive. So that's the world we're stepping into tonight. It's not a happy place, but it's real. It's full of smells, sounds, and feelings that pull you in. You'll walk through dark alleys, hear the clink of coins, and feel the weight of a secret life. This isn't just history. It's a story about people who lived, breathed, and fought in a time long gone, but whose hearts beat a little like ours. Get ready to dive deeper. We'll explore what an assassin eats, how they work, what they fear, and what they love. We'll see the city through their eyes, from the muddy streets to the starry sky. It's a big story, and we're just at the start. So stay cozy, keep listening, and let's go on this adventure together. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me what you think. Let's keep the story going. You open your eyes to the soft ringing of church bells far away. They clang and echo through the chilly morning air. A squeaky noise comes from a crooked wooden shutter by your tiny window, rattling as the wind pushes it. The air smells musty, like wet dirt mixed with old, sour ale that someone spilled long ago. You're in your secret hideout, a small attic tucked above a loud tavern where people talk and laugh all night. The room feels cold and the walls are damp, like they're sweating. Your bed is just a thin mat on the floor, stuffed with straw that pokes through and scratches your skin. It's not cozy, but it's what you've got. You lie there for a moment, listening. Outside, the city is waking up. You hear the clatter of cartwheels on stones, the shout of a man selling bread, and the splash of someone stepping in a puddle. Life is moving fast out there, like a river that never stops. You take a deep breath and sit up, feeling the chill on your arms. It's time to start the day, but you're not a regular person with a normal day. You're an assassin, someone who sneaks and hides, doing secret jobs that nobody can know about. Every morning, you have to be ready for danger. You swing your legs off the mat and stand, your feet touching the rough wooden floor. It's uneven and you feel a splinter poke your toe. You ignore it and reach for your clothes. There's a wool cloak hanging on a nail in the wall. It's heavy and scratchy, with frayed edges that look like they've been chewed by time. You pull it over your shoulders and it feels warm, even if it smells a little like smoke from the tavern's fire. Under the cloak, you wear a plain tunic, long like a shirt, and pants that are patched from too many tumbles in the streets. They're not fancy, but they help you blend in. Your most important thing is your dagger. It's small, with a sharp blade that glints in the dim light. You pick it up from a wooden box by your mat, feeling its smooth handle in your hand. It's light but strong, like it was made just for you. You slide it into a leather loop on your belt, making sure it's hidden under your cloak. Nobody can see it, or they might guess what you are. An assassin's life depends on secrets, and this dagger is one of them. You walk to the tiny window and push the shutter open a bit more. It creaks loudly and you wince, hoping nobody below hears. A gust of cold air rushes in, carrying the smell of wet mud and baked bread from somewhere nearby. You peek outside and the city stretches out like a busy, messy painting. The streets are narrow, twisting between houses made of wood and stone. Roofs are covered with straw or tiles, some sagging like they're tired. Smoke curls up from chimneys, mixing with the gray morning sky. Down below, the street is alive. The cobblestones are shiny with mud, slippery enough to make you fall if you're not careful. A scruffy dog runs by, barking at a pile of fish bones in the dirt. Two merchants stand by a cart, arguing loudly about the price of a barrel of fish. Their voices bounce off the walls, sharp and fast. A woman hurries past, her basket full of turnips, her face red from the cold. Kids chase each other, laughing and splashing through puddles, their shoes soaked. It's noisy, crowded, and a little wild, like the city has a heartbeat of its own. You take it all in, feeling a mix of excitement and worry. This city isn't just a place to live. It's a trap ready to catch you if you make a mistake. One wrong step, like talking to the wrong person or letting someone see your dagger, could mean big trouble. You could end up in chains, locked in a dark cell, or worse. Being an assassin means you're always watching, always thinking, always ready to run. You turn away from the window and grab your boots. They're leather, scuffed and worn, with laces that are starting to fray. You pull them on, tying them tight, and feel the familiar weight on your feet. They're not new, but they're good for moving quietly. You check your small bag, hidden under a loose floorboard. Inside, there's a few copper coins, a bit of bread wrapped in cloth, and a tiny bottle of something dark, maybe a potion or poison. You don't touch it, just make sure it's still there. Everything's ready. Now it's time to go outside. You climb down a rickety ladder from the attic to the tavern below. The tavern smells like old beer and burnt wood. A few people sit at tables, eating porridge or sipping ale even this early. The tavern keeper, a big man with a bushy beard, glances at you but doesn't say anything. He knows you live upstairs, but he doesn't know what you do. Nobody does, and that's how it has to stay. You push open the heavy door and step into the street. The cold air hits your face, sharp like a slap. The noise is louder now, people shouting, animals bleating, wheels creaking. You pull your hood up, covering most of your face. It's not just to stay warm, it's to hide. In a crowd, you want to be invisible, just another person in a sea of faces. You start walking, your boots sinking a little into the muddy stones. Each step is careful, like you're testing the ground. The city feels alive, but not in a friendly way. It's like a big animal, moving and breathing, and you're a tiny part of it. The streets are packed with people doing their jobs. A baker carries a tray of hot loaves, the smell making your stomach rumble. A blacksmith hammers metal, sparks flying like tiny stars. A group of women wash clothes in a big tub, their hands red from the cold water. Everyone's busy, and that's good for you. Busy people don't notice a quiet stranger slipping by. You pass a market stall where a man sells apples, shiny and red. He calls out, trying to get your attention, but you keep walking. You don't have extra coins for apples today. Besides, you're not here to shop. You're watching, listening, looking for anything strange. Maybe a guard who's watching you too closely. Maybe a whisper about a job you need to know. Your eyes dart around, taking in every detail. The way a man limps, the way a woman hides something under her shawl. Everything matters. The street curves, and you see a big stone wall in the distance. It's part of the city's defenses, built to keep enemies out. Guards stand on top, their helmets shining in the weak sunlight. You don't like guards. They're always looking for trouble, and you're the kind of trouble they'd love to find. You turn down a smaller alley away from their eyes. The alley is darker, with tall buildings leaning in like they're whispering to each other. It smells like rotting food and something worse. You step over a pile of trash and keep going. This alley is quieter, but not empty. A cat jumps from a barrel, its eyes glowing as it runs off. A man sits against a wall, his clothes ragged, muttering to himself. You don't stop, you don't talk, you just keep moving, your hand resting near your dagger just in case. Alleys like this are good for hiding, but they're also where bad things happen. You've learned to trust your gut, and right now, it's telling you to stay sharp. You come out of the alley into another busy street. This one has a fountain in the middle, where water trickles from a stone lion's mouth. People gather around, filling buckets or splashing their faces. You pause, pretending to adjust your cloak, but really you're watching. A woman whispers to a man, her eyes nervous. A boy runs by, carrying a message tied with string. You wonder if any of this matters to you, if any of these people are part of your next job. You don't know yet, but you file it away in your mind. Your stomach growls, reminding you that you haven't eaten. You reach into your pocket and pull out the bread from your bag. It's hard, like chewing a rock, but you tear off a piece and eat it as you walk. The taste is plain, a little stale, but it fills you up. You don't have time for a real meal now. There's too much to do, too much to see. You swallow the bread and keep moving, your eyes scanning the crowd. The city is big, and every part feels different. The market is loud and colorful, with stalls selling everything from cloth to chickens. The church square is quiet, with people praying or lighting candles. The castle hill is grand, with flags flying and guards everywhere. You know all these places, like a map in your head. You know where to hide, where to run, where to listen. It's taken years to learn, and you're still learning. Every day, the city teaches you something new. Right now, you're heading toward the river. It runs through the city, wide and brown, carrying boats and secrets. The riverbank is busy, with men unloading crates from a barge. Fish swim in nets, flapping as they're pulled onto the shore. You like the river because it's a way out. If things go wrong, you can jump on a boat or swim to safety. You've done it before, and the cold water was worth it to escape. You stop by a wooden bridge and lean against the railing, acting casual. The water below moves slowly, carrying leaves and bits of wood. You watch it, but your ears are listening to the people nearby. Two men talk about a lord who's angry, something about a stolen horse. A woman complains about the price of wool. You don't care about their words, but you listen anyway. Sometimes the smallest thing, a name, a place, can be a clue. The sun is higher now, warming the air just a little. You feel it on your face, but your cloak keeps you from getting too hot. You straighten up and start walking again. There's a tavern not far from here, not the one you live in, but another one where people share gossip. You might hear something useful, like who's hearing assassins or who's in trouble. You don't trust gossip, but it's a place to start. As you walk, you think about your life. It's not easy being an assassin. You're always hiding, always planning. You don't have a family to go home to or a warm bed waiting, but you're good at what you do. You know how to move without a sound, how to climb a wall in seconds, how to make someone disappear. It's not a happy life, but it's yours. And in this big, messy city, that's enough. The street gets busier as you near the tavern. You see a crowd gathered around a man playing a flute, his music light and cheerful. A few people toss him coins and he smiles. You don't stop, but the music makes you feel a little lighter. Maybe later you'll find a quiet spot to rest, to think about something other than work. But for now, you're an assassin and the city is your world. A loud, dangerous, living trap that you know better than anyone. You wake up knowing you need to stay strong to survive. As an assassin, every day is a challenge, and you can't do your sneaky work if you're hungry or weak. To keep going, you need water, food, and a sharp mind. The city you live in is big and busy, but it's not always kind. Getting what you need takes effort, and you have to be careful. Let's walk through what it's like to get water, eat breakfast, and prepare for the dangerous day ahead. You start by heading to the town square where there's a well. It's not a shiny, clean fountain like you might imagine. The water is cloudy with bits of dirt floating in it, and it smells a little like wet stones. The well is deep, with a wooden bucket tied to a rope. You grab the rope and pull, feeling the weight as the bucket comes up. Your arms work hard, and you're careful not to let it slip back down. Around you, people are pushing and shoving, trying to get their own buckets filled. Someone's elbow bumps your side, and you step away fast to avoid a fight. The crowd is loud, with voices shouting and kids running around. You keep your eyes open for pickpockets. These are sneaky people who steal coins or small things from your pockets. They blend into the crowd, looking for anyone who's not paying attention. You hold your cloak tight and check that your dagger is hidden. If a pickpocket tried to steal from you, they'd be sorry, but you don't want trouble. You just want water. When the bucket reaches the top, you pour the murky liquid into a leather pouch you carry. It's heavy, but you sling it over your shoulder and move away from the well. Walking back through the square, you dodge more people. A woman carries a basket of eggs, her face focused as she weaves through the crowd. A man pushes a cart with squeaky wheels piled high with cabbages. You hear a dog barking and see a boy chasing it, laughing. The cobblestone ground is wet from last night's rain, and you step carefully so you don't slip. Falling would be bad, you could spill your water or worse, draw attention. As an assassin, you need to stay unnoticed, like a shadow that nobody sees. Back at your hideout, a tiny attic above a noisy tavern, you set the water pouch on a rickety table. The room is chilly, with a damp smell like old wood. You don't drink the water yet. It's not safe to drink straight from the well because it could make you sick. People in the city get fevers or stomachaches from bad water, and you can't afford to be weak. Instead, you'll use it later, maybe to mix with something safer or to wash your hands after a job. For now, you focus on food. Breakfast is simple, but it's what keeps you going. You reach into a cloth bag and pull out a piece of rye bread. It's dark and heavy like a brick and so hard you have to tear it with both hands. The crust is tough and the inside is chewy with a sour taste that's not yummy but not awful either. You take a small bite and chew slowly, letting it soften in your mouth. The bread is plain, but it fills your stomach, and that's what matters. You don't have a big kitchen or a cook to make fancy meals. This is your food, and you're used to it. Next, you find a sliver of salted herring. It's a thin strip of fish, dried and covered in salt to keep it from spoiling. The fish smells strong, like the sea, and when you take a bite, the taste is sharp and salty on your tongue. It's not sweet like candy, but it's good in its own way. The salt makes you thirsty, but you don't mind. The herring is special because it's not something you have every day. Fish is expensive, and you only got this piece because you saved a few coins from your last job. You chew it carefully, enjoying the flavor, knowing it'll give you energy for the day. To drink, you don't use the well water. Instead, you have a small jug of weak ale. This isn't like the soda or juice you might drink today. It's a light, watery drink made from grains with just a tiny bit of fizz. It tastes earthy, like bread that's been soaked in water, but it's safer than the well water. Everyone in the city drinks ale, even kids, because it won't make you sick. You take a sip, feeling the cool liquid slide down your throat. It's not delicious, but it's refreshing, and it washes away the salty taste of the herring. You sit on a wooden stool in your attic, eating your breakfast slowly. The room is quiet, except for the muffled sounds of the tavern below, someone laughing, a chair scraping the floor. This is a rare moment of peace. As an assassin, your days are full of danger, sneaking through dark alleys or climbing walls to do secret jobs. But right now, you're just eating, thinking, and feeling the calm before the storm. You take another bite of bread, savoring the chewy texture, and let your mind rest. Outside, the city is getting louder. You hear the clang of a blacksmith's hammer, the shout of a merchant selling cloth, and the squeal of a pig running loose. The noise reminds you that the world doesn't stop. Soon, you'll have to go out there, ready for whatever comes. Maybe you'll get a message about a new job, or maybe you'll just watch the streets looking for clues. Either way, you need to be strong, and this meal is your fuel. You finish the bread and herring, licking the salt from your fingers. The ale is almost gone, so you take one last sip and set the jug aside. Your stomach feels full, not stuffed, but enough to keep you going. You stand up, stretching your arms, and check your dagger again. It's still there, safe in its loop on your belt. You pull your cloak around you, feeling the rough wool against your skin. It's time to get ready for the day. Before you leave, you think about survival. Food and water aren't just about eating and drinking. They're about staying alive in a tough world. If you don't eat, you get weak, and a weak assassin doesn't last long. If you drink bad water, you get sick, and a sick assassin can't work. You've seen people in the city who didn't make it, beggars too hungry to stand, or folks who drank from the wrong stream and ended up in bed, shaking with fever. You're smarter than that. You know how to take care of yourself, even if it's hard. You glance at the water pouch on the table. Later, you might boil it over a fire to make it safer, or mix it with a bit of ale. For now, it's fine where it is. You don't have a lot of food left, just a little more bread and some dried apples in your bag. You'll need to get more soon, maybe by trading coins or doing a small job. Food isn't free and coins don't grow on trees. Every bite you take is something you earned, and that makes it taste a little better. You step toward the ladder that leads down from the attic. The wood creaks under your boots and you move carefully so you don't fall. At the bottom, you're in the tavern where the air smells like smoke and spilled ale. A few people sit at tables eating bowls of porridge or talking in low voices. The tavern keeper, a tall man with a red face, nods at you but doesn't ask questions. He's used to you coming and going, and you like it that way. Nobody needs to know your business. You push open the door and step into the street. The morning air is cool, with a hint of fog that makes everything look soft. The cobblestones are still wet, and you hear the splash of someone's boots nearby. You pull your hood up, hiding your face, and start walking. The city is awake now and you're part of it, but only from the edges. You're not a merchant or a baker or a farmer. You're an assassin, and your survival depends on being invisible. As you walk, you think about the well again. It's not the only place to get water. There's a stream outside the city walls, but it's a long walk and the water isn't much cleaner. Sometimes you buy water from a cart where a man sells it in big jugs. It's expensive though, and you don't always have spare coins. The well is your best bet, even if it's crowded and risky. You've learned to go early, before the big rush, to avoid the worst of the shoving. Food is trickier. Bread is easy to find, but it's not always good. Some bakers sell loaves that are moldy or full of grit. You've learned which ones to trust, like the old woman near the church who bakes small, hard loaves that last a long time. Fish like the herring you ate is a treat. You get it from the market when you can, but it's not cheap. Sometimes you trade for food instead of buying it, maybe a coin for a handful of dried peas or a bit of cheese. You don't eat a lot, but you eat enough to keep your strength. You pass a market stall now, where a man sells carrots and onions. The vegetables look fresh, with dirt still clinging to them. You'd like to buy some, but you keep walking. Your coins are for emergencies, not for extras. Besides, you're still full from breakfast. You think about the bread and herring again, how they tasted simple but good. It's not like the feasts you've heard about, where lords eat roasted meat and sweet pies. Your food is plain, but it's yours, and it keeps you alive. The street gets busier as you move toward the center of the city. You see a group of women carrying buckets of water, their arms strong from years of work. A boy runs by, holding a loaf of bread bigger than his head. You smile a little, but then you catch yourself. Smiling makes you stand out, and you can't afford that. You pull your cloak tighter and keep your eyes down, watching the ground but also the people around you. Survival isn't just about food and water. It's about knowing the city, knowing people, knowing yourself. You've learned to read faces, when someone's lying, when they're scared, when they're hiding something. You've learned to move quietly, to blend in, to disappear. These skills are as important as eating because they keep you safe. Without them, you'd be caught, and an assassin who's caught doesn't get a second chance. You stop by a stone wall and lean against it, pretending to rest. Really, you're watching the street. A man in a fancy hat walks by, talking to a guard. You listen, catching a few words about a shipment of wine. It's not important to you, but you store it in your mind. Information is like food, it's something you collect, something that keeps you going. You never know when a small fact might save your life. The sun is climbing higher and the fog is starting to lift. The city looks brighter now, with colors popping out: red apples at a stall, blue cloth hanging from a window, yellow flowers in a girl's basket. It's pretty in a rough way, but you don't have time to enjoy it. You push off the wall and keep moving. There's a place you need to be, a corner where someone might leave a message for you. It's part of your job, checking for signs, waiting for work. As you walk, you think about the day ahead. It's going to be dangerous, like always. Maybe you'll have to sneak into a house, or follow someone through the market, or climb a wall in the dark. Whatever it is, you're ready. The bread, herring, and ale gave you strength. The water pouch back in your attic is waiting for later. You've done what you need to survive this morning, and now it's time to face the city and its secrets. You take a deep breath, feeling the cool air fill your lungs. The street smells like mud and smoke, but it's familiar, and that makes it okay. You adjust your cloak, check your dagger one more time, and step forward. The city is waiting, and you're ready for whatever it throws at you. Survival isn't easy, but it's what you do. And in this world of shadows and danger, that's enough. You hold the smooth handle of your dagger, its wood worn soft from years of use. The blade is sharp, so thin it barely makes a sound when it cuts the air. You're in a dark corner of your attic hideout where no one can see you. The room is small, with dusty beams and a single candle flickering on a table. You practice moving, pretending to fight someone who isn't there. Your arms flex and your muscles feel tight as you swing the dagger in slow, careful arcs. Every step, every twist is planned. You breathe slowly in and out, keeping your heart steady. This isn't just practice, it's making you better at your job, a job that could change the world, like stopping a powerful king. Being an assassin isn't about running around and fighting all the time. It's work, hard work, like a farmer planting seeds or a baker kneading dough. Your work is learning to be quick, quiet, and smart. You're not just trying to stay alive. You're building a skill, something special that makes you different. Each time you practice, you get a little stronger, a little faster. It's like sharpening a tool, and you're the tool. Your dagger is important, but your body and mind are what make it dangerous. You swing the dagger again, imagining an enemy in front of you. Maybe it's a guard with a shiny helmet or a thief who knows too much. You picture their moves, how they might block or dodge. Your feet shift on the wooden floor, careful not to make it creak. You twist your wrist, letting the blade dance in the air, and then pull back, ready to strike again. Sweat beads on your forehead, even though the attic is cold. Your shirt sticks to your back, and your breath comes a little faster now. This work makes you tired, but it also makes you feel alive. You stop for a moment, lowering the dagger. The candlelight casts shadows on the wall, making them wiggle like ghosts. You listen to the sounds from outside, muffled voices from the tavern below, the clop of horse hooves on the street, a dog barking somewhere far away. The city never sleeps, not really. It's always moving, always buzzing, and you're part of it, even if you stay hidden. You wipe your brow with the sleeve of your tunic, feeling the rough cloth against your skin. Then you start again, lifting the dagger, stepping forward, striking at the air. This practice isn't just for your body. It's for your mind, too. You think about every move before you make it. Where will your foot land? How will your hand turn? What if someone surprises you? You play these questions in your head like a game of chess with no board. Being an assassin means being ready for anything. A king might hire you to stop a rival. A merchant might pay you to scare a thief. Every job is different, and you have to be sharp like the edge of your blade. You've been doing this for years, ever since you were a kid. Back then, someone, an old assassin with scars on his face, taught you how to hold a knife, how to climb a wall, how to hide in a crowd. He was tough, never smiling, but he made you good. Now you train alone, but you hear his voice in your head. Move faster, stay quiet, think ahead. Those lessons are part of you, like the calluses on your hands from gripping the dagger. They're why you're still here, still breathing, when others who tried this life are gone. You step back, letting your arms rest. Your muscles ache a little, but it's a good ache, like when you've run a long way and know you're stronger for it. You walk to the table and pick up a cloth, wiping the sweat from your face. The candle is burning low and you'll need to get a new one soon. For now, you sit on a wobbly stool, still holding the dagger, turning it in your hands. The blade catches the light, shining like a tiny star. It's beautiful in a way, but also scary. This tool can end a life, and you know how to use it. Outside, the city keeps moving. You think about the people out there, all working their own jobs. There's a beggar you've seen near the market, his eyes sharp and clever, like he knows more than he says. He sits on a corner, holding a wooden bowl, but you've caught him watching people, remembering faces. Maybe he's more than a beggar. Maybe he's like you, hiding who he really is. You respect that, even if you don't trust him. Then there's the blacksmith, a big man with arms like tree trunks. You hear his hammer all day, banging on steel, shaping horseshoes or swords. Sparks fly from his forge, lighting up his shop like a festival. He doesn't talk much, but his work is honest. You admire that too. His life is different from yours. He makes things, builds things, while you take things away. But you both work hard, both sweat for your place in the city. You've seen others, too. A woman who sells apples, her hands quick as she counts coins. A boy who sweeps the church steps, humming a tune. A hooded figure who slipped into an alley one night so fast you almost missed them. Everyone has a story, a reason for being here. Some are loud, like the blacksmith's hammer. Some are quiet, like the hooded figure's steps. Yours is the quietest of all, hidden in the dark, but it's just as real. You stand again, ready to practice more. This time you try something harder. You imagine you're sneaking into a castle, past guards with spears. You crouch low, moving across the attic like it's a stone floor. Your dagger is ready, but you don't want to use it. A good assassin doesn't always fight. Sometimes you just need to get in and out without anyone knowing. You pretend to climb a wall, gripping imaginary stones, pulling yourself up. Your legs burn, but you keep going, picturing the castle's tall towers and narrow windows. You reach the top and pause, catching your breath. In your mind, you're looking out over the city, seeing its roofs and chimneys under a gray sky. You feel strong, like you could do anything. This is why you work so hard, not just to survive, but to be the best. Your craft isn't like making bread or shoes. It's rare, dangerous, and powerful. With one move, you could change who rules the city. That's a big thought, and it makes your heart beat faster. You slide back to the floor, moving like water, smooth and silent. You practice a different strike now, one that's quick, aimed at a spot where armor doesn't cover. Your arm snaps forward, then back, so fast the candle flame barely flickers. You do it again, then again, each time a little smoother. Your body knows these moves, but you keep practicing because even a tiny mistake could mean getting caught. And getting caught means a rope around your neck or a sword through your chest. You think about the city again, how it's full of people fighting their own battles. The beggar might be hiding from someone. The blacksmith might owe money to a lord. The hooded figure might be planning something just like you. Everyone's working, sweating, trying to make it through another day. You're not so different, except your work stays secret. Nobody will ever cheer for you like they cheer for a knight in a tournament. But you don't need cheers. You need to be good, to be ready, to be alive. You practice for hours until your arms feel heavy and your tunic is damp with sweat. The candle is almost gone, just a stub now, and the attic is darker. You blow out the flame and sit in the quiet, letting your eyes adjust to the shadows. The city's sounds are softer now, fewer voices, fewer hooves. It's getting late, but your work isn't done. An assassin's day doesn't end when the sun goes down. That's when the real jobs start, in the dark, where nobody can see. You clean your dagger with a soft cloth, making sure the blade is perfect. It's not just a weapon, it's part of you. You slide it into its leather holder on your belt, feeling its weight against your side. Then you stand, stretching your sore muscles. You're tired, but you're also proud. Every swing, every step, every breath made you better. This is your purpose, your reason for being here. Not just to eat or sleep, but to master something few people can even dream of. You walk to the attic's small window and peek outside. The street below is dim, with only a few lanterns glowing. A man hurries by, his cloak flapping. A cat jumps onto a barrel, its eyes shining. The city is settling down, but it's still alive, still watching. You're part of it, even if nobody knows your name. Your work, your sweat, your skill, they matter. They keep you going, keep you sharp, keep you ready for whatever comes next. You tilt your head back and gaze upward. Bright banners wave high above the stone walls of the castle. They flutter in the breeze, their bold colors, red, gold, and blue, standing out against the gray sky. Each banner has a picture, like a lion or an eagle, showing everyone who's in charge. These flags aren't just pretty cloth. They're a warning, like a tight rope around your neck, reminding you that the Lord who owns them has all the power. If you make a mistake, that power could crush you. You're an assassin, someone who sneaks in the shadows and does secret jobs. The city you live in is ruled by a baron or sometimes a bishop, important people who make all the rules. They're like kings in their own way, telling everyone what to do. Their guards march through the streets, wearing shiny armor and carrying long spears. Their voices boom when they give orders, and nobody dares to talk back. These leaders hold the city tight, like a fist squeezing a small bird. You work for them sometimes, doing quiet tasks they don't want anyone to know about. But you're also their enemy, because if someone else pays you, you might work against them. It's a dangerous game, and you're always careful. You walk through the city now, keeping your hood low so nobody sees your face. The streets are busy, with people selling vegetables, fixing shoes, or carrying heavy baskets. But there's a nervous feeling in the air, like everyone's holding their breath. You pass a tavern, its wooden sign creaking as it swings. Inside, you hear soft voices, not loud laughs like usual. People are talking in whispers, sharing stories that make their eyes wide and their hands shake. You pause outside, listening through the open window. One man talks about an assassin who got caught last week. He was trying to sneak into a rich man's house but tripped over a sleeping dog. The guards grabbed him, and now his head is stuck on a sharp spike outside the castle gate. The man's voice is low, scared, like he thinks someone might hear him. Another person, a woman with a scratchy voice, tells a different tale. She says a noble, someone close to the Baron, got sick and died suddenly. Nobody knows why, but they suspect poison. The tavern goes quiet for a moment and you feel a chill. You know how poison works, you've used it before. These stories aren't just gossip, they change how the city feels. When people hear about a traitor or a mysterious death, they get jumpy. They look over their shoulders, wondering who's next. Shopkeepers lock their doors earlier. Mothers pull their kids closer when guards walk by. Even the dogs in the street seem to bark louder, like they sense trouble. The city's heartbeat is uneasy, thumping fast, and you feel it too. As an assassin, you're part of this world, but you're also outside it, watching, waiting, knowing things others don't. You move away from the tavern, blending into the crowd. Your boots splash in muddy puddles, and you keep your hands inside your cloak near your hidden dagger. The castle looms ahead, its tall towers poking into the clouds. The banners snap in the wind, and you can't help but glance at them again. They make you feel small, like a mouse under a hawk's gaze. The baron or bishop inside that castle decides who lives and who doesn't. If they want you gone, there's no running away. Their power is everywhere, in the guards, in the laws, in the fear on people's faces. You think about the baron. He's a man with a thick beard and cold eyes, or so you've heard. You've never seen him up close, and you hope you never do. He lives in the castle, surrounded by stone walls and iron gates. His rooms are filled with soft furs, golden cups, and big fires that keep him warm. He eats roasted meat and drinks sweet wine, while most people in the city chew hard bread and shiver in thin cloaks. His life is so different from yours, but he's the one who controls it all. If he says a tax must be paid, everyone pays. If he says a thief must lose a hand, the hand is cut off. His word is law, and nobody questions it. The bishop is just as powerful, maybe more. He wears long robes and a heavy ring that shines when he raises his hand. He speaks for the church, saying what's right and wrong. People listen to him because they believe he talks to God. If he calls someone a sinner, the whole city turns against them. You've seen it happen, a woman accused of magic, dragged away while everyone shouted. The bishop's power isn't just in his guards or his gold. It's in the fear he puts in people's hearts, making them think they'll burn forever if they disobey. You slip into an alley, away from the busy street. The air here is cooler, smelling like damp stone and rotting leaves. You lean against a wall, catching your breath, and think about how you fit into this world. The baron or bishop might hire you to do something quiet, like making a problem disappear. You're their tool, like a hammer or a key, helping them keep their power. But you're also a danger to them. If someone else offers you coins, maybe a rival lord or a rich merchant, you could turn against them. That's why they don't trust you and you don't trust them. It's a tricky balance, like walking on a thin rope over a deep river. You've heard stories about other assassins who worked for powerful people. Some got rich, earning bags of silver for their silence. Others got careless, and their bones are now under the castle's dungeons. You want to be the smart one, the one who stays alive. That means keeping your eyes open and your mouth shut. You don't talk about your jobs, not even to the other assassins you sometimes meet. You don't write things down or leave clues. You're a shadow, and shadows don't leave footprints. The alley is quiet, but you hear footsteps nearby. You press yourself against the wall, holding your breath. A man walks by, his cloak dragging in the mud. He doesn't see you and you relax a little. This is what fear does. It makes you careful, makes you quick. Fear isn't just a bad feeling, it's your friend keeping you sharp. Without it, you'd get sloppy, and sloppy assassins don't last long. You step out of the alley and head toward the market. The crowd is thicker here, with people buying apples, cloth, and pots. You pass a stall where a woman sells candles, her hands quick as she wraps them in cloth. She glances at you, but you look away. Nobody needs to remember your face. You hear more whispers, bits of talk floating like leaves in the wind. Someone says the Baron is angry, raising taxes again. Another person mutters about a guard who vanished, maybe killed for knowing too much. These stories make the air heavy, like a storm is coming. You think about power again. It's not just the Baron or Bishop. It's the guards who patrol the streets, their boots loud on the stones. It's the tax collectors who knock on doors, demanding coins from people who have none. It's the priests who stand in the church, telling everyone to obey or face punishment. Power is everywhere, like a net over the city, holding everyone in place. Even you, with your dagger and your secrets, can't escape it. You work around it, under it, but it's always there. You pass a big wooden gate where two guards stand with crossed spears. They're talking, not paying attention, but you still feel nervous. Guards are the Baron's hands, reaching out to grab anyone who steps out of line. You've seen them drag people away, thieves, beggars, or just someone who looked at them wrong. You keep your head down and walk faster, blending into a group of women carrying baskets. They don't notice you and the guards don't either. You're safe for now. The market smells like fresh bread, fish, and something sweet, maybe honey. You wish you could stop and buy something, but you don't. You're here to listen, to learn. You move to a corner where a man sells wooden spoons, pretending to look at his wares. Really, you're hearing the talk around you. A boy says his father was whipped for not paying taxes. A woman worries the bishop will close the market for a holy day, leaving everyone hungry. Their voices are low, careful, like they're afraid the wrong person will hear. You think about the stories from the tavern again. The failed assassin, the noble who died. Those tales aren't just scary, they're lessons. They tell you what happens if you're not careful. You've made mistakes before, but you learned from them. Once you left a footprint in the mud and a guard almost followed it. Another time you trusted a man who promised coins, but he tried to sell you out. You got away, but it was close. Every mistake teaches you something, and you're still here because you listen. You leave the market and head toward a quieter street. The castle is still visible, its banners flapping like they're mocking you. You feel a knot in your stomach, but you push it down. Fear is normal, but you can't let it control you. You're an assassin, and your job is to move through this world of power, to use it and dodge it. The Baron or Bishop might rule the city, but you have your own kind of strength. You're quick, you're smart, and you're hidden. That's your power, and it's enough. You stop by a small bridge over a muddy stream. The water gurgles, carrying leaves and twigs. You lean on the railing, acting like you're just resting, but your eyes are scanning the street. A man in a fancy cloak walks by, his boots clean despite the mud. He's someone important, maybe a merchant or a noble's helper. You wonder if he's ever hired an assassin or if he's ever been a target. You don't know, but you watch him until he's gone. The city keeps moving around you. A girl sells flowers, her voice bright as she calls out. A cart rattles by, its wheels squeaking. A dog sniffs at a pile of trash, then runs off. Everyone's busy, but everyone's careful, too. The baron's power, the bishop's words, the guard's spears, they make the city feel like a cage. You're in that cage, but you know how to slip through the bars. You're an assassin, and that's your secret. You straighten up and keep walking. The day is getting warmer and your cloak feels heavy. You think about the tavern stories one more time. They're like warnings written in the air. You'll be careful, like always. You'll watch the banners, avoid the guards, and listen to the whispers. The city's pulse is uneasy, but you're part of it, moving with it, staying alive. That's what matters. You step into a small chapel, its wooden door creaking as it swings shut behind you. The air inside feels heavy, warm, and sweet, like a cloud of honey. It smells of frankincense, a special spice that burns slowly, sending curls of gray smoke into the dim light. Tiny candles flicker on tables and shelves, their flames dancing like little stars. The chapel is quiet, but not silent. You hear soft voices, whispering words in a language called Latin, which priests use to talk to God. You're an assassin, someone who lives in shadows and does secret, dangerous jobs. But right now, you're here in this holy place, looking for something bigger than yourself. You walk forward, your boots soft on the stone floor. The chapel isn't big like the city's grand church with its tall towers and colorful windows. This one is plain, with rough walls and a low ceiling. But it feels safe, like a warm blanket on a cold night. At the front, there's a shrine to Saint Michael, a holy warrior who fights for good. His statue stands tall, carved from wood, holding a sword and a shield. His face looks strong but kind, and his eyes seem to watch you, like he knows who you are. You kneel on a cushion in front of the shrine. The cushion is thin and your knees feel the hard floor beneath, but you don't mind. You bow your head and your hands shake a little as you reach into your pocket. You pull out a small copper coin, shiny from being carried so long. It's not much, but it's what you have. You place it gently on the shrine, next to other coins and bits of bread left by other people. The coin makes a tiny clink and you feel nervous, like you're giving something important away. Now you whisper a prayer asking Saint Michael to keep you sneaky and safe and to forgive you for the bad things you've done. Your voice is quiet, so quiet you barely hear it yourself. Being an assassin means doing things most people wouldn't understand. You sneak into houses, climb walls, and sometimes hurt people for coins. It's not a good life, not like a baker who makes bread or a farmer who grows apples. You know your work is wrong deep down, but it's how you survive. That's why you're here in this chapel, praying to Saint Michael. You hope he sees you not just as a shadow in a cloak, but as a person who wants to be better. You hope he'll protect you like a shield and maybe help you find a way to heaven when your life is over. The frankincense smoke curls around you, tickling your nose. It's a smell you like, warm and spicy, different from the muddy streets outside. The Latin prayers continue, sung by a priest. You tick-tock priest is hidden behind a curtain, his voice low and steady. You don't understand the words, but they feel important, like they're reaching up to the sky. The candles glow, casting soft light on the walls, where simple paintings show saints and angels. One picture has Saint Michael standing over a dragon, his sword raised high. It makes you feel small, but also strong, like you're part of something big. You close your eyes and think about your life. It's hard, always hiding, always watching for danger. You've done things that make your heart heavy, like stealing or worse. But here in this chapel, you feel lighter. The sacred, holy feeling of this place wraps around you like a hug from someone who cares. You believe in God even if you don't always act like it. You believe in saints like Michael who fought for what's right. You want to be good even if your job makes it tough. You open your eyes and look at the statue again. Saint Michael's sword looks sharp, ready to fight evil. You think about your own dagger hidden under your cloak. It's sharp too, but you use it for different things. You wonder if Michael would understand why you do what you do. Maybe he knows you don't have many choices. Maybe he sees the times you helped someone, like when you gave a coin to a hungry kid or warned a friend about trouble. You hope those moments count for something. The priest's voice rises, then falls, like waves on a lake. Other people are in the chapel, kneeling or standing quietly. There's an old woman with a shawl, her hands folded tight. A man in a rough tunic bows his head, his lips moving without sound. A young girl holds a candle, her face serious. They're all here for their own reasons, asking for help or saying thanks. You're not alone, even if you feel like it sometimes. Everyone in this city carries worries just like you. You touch the coin on the shrine, feeling its cool metal under your fingers. It's your offering, a way to show you're serious. You don't have much money, but giving this coin feels right. It's like saying, "I'm trying, Saint Michael, please help me." You pray for stealth so you can move without being seen like a cat in the dark. You pray for forgiveness because your heart aches for the things you've done. You pray for strength to keep going even when you're scared. The chapel feels warm, not from heat but from something else like love or hope. The frankincense smoke twists upward, carrying your prayers with it. You imagine them floating past the ceiling, past the clouds, all the way to Saint Michael. You picture him listening, his shield glowing, his eyes kind. It's a good thought, and it makes you feel less afraid. In your life of blood and secrets, this moment is a shield protecting your heart. You stay kneeling for a while, letting the quiet fill you up. The priest finishes his prayers and the chapel grows still. The old woman stands, her shawl slipping a little. The man in the tunic crosses himself, then walks away. The girl blows out her candle and follows her mother out the door. You're alone now, just you and Saint Michael. The candles flicker and the frankincense smell lingers. You feel calm, like a stormy sea turning smooth. You think about the city outside. It's loud and messy, with muddy streets and shouting merchants. People fight, steal, and lie just to get by, but they also come here to places like this chapel looking for peace. They light candles, leave coins, and whisper hopes. You're one of them even if your job is different. You're an assassin, but you're also a person with dreams and fears. This chapel reminds you of that. You stand slowly, your knees a little sore from kneeling. You adjust your cloak, making sure your dagger is hidden. The statue of Saint Michael watches you and you nod to it, like saying goodbye to a friend. You feel stronger, like you can face the day. The sacred stays with you like a warm stone in your pocket. You'll carry it into the streets, into the shadows, into your next job. It's your hope for salvation, your belief that maybe, just maybe, you'll be okay. You walk to the door, your boots quiet on the stone. The air outside is cool, smelling of rain and bread from a nearby baker. You pull your hood up and step into the city, ready for whatever comes. The chapel's peace stays in your heart, a tiny light in the dark. You're an assassin, but you're also a believer, and that makes all the difference. You wince as a sharp pain shoots through your arm. A thin cut, red and angry, runs across your skin. It happened last night during a job that went wrong. You were sneaking through a dark alley, chasing a target, when you slipped on wet stones and scraped your arm against a rusty blade someone left lying around. It's not deep, but it stings like a bee's bite, and you know it could get worse if you don't take care of it. As an assassin, you can't let a little hurt stop you, but you also can't ignore it. You need to stay strong to survive in this tough city, so you head to find help. You pull your cloak tight, hiding the cut, and walk through the busy streets. The morning air is chilly, smelling of smoke and fresh bread from a nearby baker. People rush around you, merchants carrying baskets, kids chasing a stray cat, a woman balancing a jug on her shoulder. The cobblestones are slick with mud, and you step carefully, not wanting to fall and make things worse. Your arm throbs with every move, a reminder that even a small mistake can cause big trouble. You're looking for a barber surgeon, a man who fixes cuts, pulls teeth, and sometimes even shaves beards. He's not a fancy doctor like you might see today. In this city, barber surgeons are the ones who help when you're hurt, using tools and tricks they've learned from years of work. The one you know lives near the market, in a small shop with a red and white pole outside. You've been to him before when you twisted your ankle or got a bad scrape. He's not gentle, but he knows what he's doing. The market is loud when you arrive. Stalls line the street, selling apples, cloth, and pots. A man shouts about his fresh fish, waving a shiny herring in the air. A girl offers flowers, her basket full of yellow blooms. You weave through the crowd, keeping your hood low so nobody notices you. As an assassin, you don't want people remembering your face. Your arm hurts more now, and you feel a little warm, like a fever might be starting. You walk faster, ignoring the pain, determined to get to the barber surgeon before it gets worse. His shop is tucked between a baker and a shoemaker. The red and white pole spins slowly, a sign that he's open. You push open the wooden door and a bell jingles above. Inside, the air smells sharp, like sour apples and herbs. The shop is small, with a wooden chair in the middle and shelves full of jars and tools. A table holds a basin of water. The barber surgeon is there, a grizzled man with a bushy beard and rough hands. His apron is stained with spots of blood and ink, and his eyes are sharp, like he's seen everything. He looks up from a knife he's sharpening and grunts, "What's wrong with you?" You pull back your cloak and show him the cut on your arm. It's redder now, with a bit of pus around the edges, and it stinks a little like spoiled milk. He squints at it, poking the skin with a thick finger. "Nasty," he says, his voice gravelly. "Got bad humors in there, needs cleaning." You nod, not sure what bad humors means, but you trust him. He's fixed you before, and you don't have many choices. Doctors are for rich people, not assassins like you. He points to the chair, and you sit, gripping the arms tight. The wood is smooth from years of use, but it's not comfortable. He grabs a clay jug and pours a liquid into a bowl. It smells strong, like vinegar, sharp enough to make your eyes water. "This'll hurt," he warns, dipping a cloth into the bowl. Before you can brace yourself, he presses the cloth against your cut. The sting is fierce, like fire burning your skin. You clench your teeth, trying not to yell. Your eyes squeeze shut, and you focus on breathing in and out while the pain pulses through your arm. The barber surgeon doesn't stop. He rubs the cloth hard, wiping away the pus and dirt. "Got to get the bad stuff out," he mutters, like he's talking to himself. "Humors mess you up if you let 'em stay." You don't know if he's right, but you feel the cut getting cleaner, even if it hurts like crazy. The vinegar soaks into the wound and you imagine it fighting the bad stuff like a tiny battle inside your arm. You grit your teeth harder, your knuckles white on the chair, but you don't move. You've been through worse, and you can handle this. After what feels like forever, he pulls the cloth away. The cut looks better, pink and raw, but not so angry. He grabs a strip of linen, clean but rough, and wraps it around your arm. His hands are quick, tying the cloth tight, not too gentle but not cruel either. Keep it dry, he says, tying a knot. Change it tomorrow. If it festers, come back. You nod, still catching your breath. The bandage feels snug, like a hug for your arm, and the sting is fading, replaced by a dull ache. You stand, flexing your arm to test it. It hurts, but it's bearable, like a bruise instead of a fire. You dig into your pocket and pull out a copper coin, handing it to him. He takes it without a smile, slipping it into his apron. Don't die out there, he grumbles, turning back to his knife. You nod, even though he's not looking, and head for the door. The bell jingles again as you step outside, the cool air hitting your face like a splash of water. The market is still buzzing, but you feel different, like you've won a small fight. Your arm isn't perfect, but it's better, and that's enough. You know recovery isn't easy. In your world, you don't get to rest for long. By dawn, you'll be back on the streets, climbing walls or sneaking through alleys, pain or no pain. Being an assassin means pushing through, ignoring the hurt, and keeping your eyes sharp. A cut like this is nothing compared to what could happen if you get caught. You walk slowly, letting the city's noise wrap around you. A man pushes a cart of turnips, his wheels squeaking. A woman laughs, selling bread to a boy with muddy shoes. The smells of fish, flowers, and smoke mix in the air, and you feel alive, even with the bandage on your arm. You think about the barber surgeon, his rough hands and strange words about bad humors. He's not your friend, but he helped you, and that's enough. In this city, help is rare, and you take it where you can get it. Your stomach growls, reminding you to eat soon, but your arm is your focus now. You'll check the bandage later, maybe wash it with water you boiled to keep it clean. You've learned to be careful, because a small cut can turn bad fast. You've seen people in the streets, sick and weak from wounds that got dirty, their faces pale like ghosts. You won't let that happen to you. You're tough, trained to survive, and this cut won't stop you. As you walk, you think about other times you got hurt. Once you fell from a roof, twisting your ankle so bad you limped for weeks. Another time, a dog bit your hand when you reached for a coin in an alley. Each time you found a way to heal, whether it was the barber surgeon, a woman who sold herbs, or just resting in your attic hideout. Healing isn't a gift, it's something you fight for, like food or safety. You've learned to listen to your body, to know when a hurt is small or when it's trouble. The sun is higher now, warming the air a little. You pass a church, its bells ringing softly, and see people going inside to pray. You don't stop, but you think about them, asking for health or strength. You don't pray much, but you understand wanting to feel better. Your bandage is your prayer, your way of fighting to stay strong. You flex your arm again, testing the pain. It's still there, but it's fading, like a storm moving away. You head toward your hideout, a small attic above a noisy tavern. The streets get quieter as you leave the market, with fewer people and more shadows. You like the shadows, they're where you feel safe. Your arm aches, but you ignore it, focusing on the path ahead. You'll rest for a few hours, eat some bread, and check your dagger to make sure it's sharp. By night, you'll be working again, sneaking through the city, doing what you do best. The cut on your arm is a reminder that you're not invincible. You can bleed, you can hurt, you can fall, but it's also a reminder that you're a fighter. You went to the barber surgeon, faced the sting of vinegar, and walked out stronger. Healing isn't soft or easy, it's tough like you. And in this world of danger and secrets, that's what keeps you alive. You live in a big, noisy city where everyone has a job to do. As an assassin, your job is secret, dangerous, and lonely. You sneak through shadows, carry a sharp dagger, and do things nobody can know about. But even you, a quiet ghost in a dark cloak, think about family, what it means to be a man or a woman, and the role you play in this busy world. These things shape your life even if you try to push them away. Let's walk through what it's like to be you, an assassin, dealing with family ties, hiding who you are, and finding small ways to feel free. You don't talk about family much. Maybe you had one once, a mother who sang soft songs, a father who fixed boots, or a little sister who chased you in the yard. But now, as an assassin, you're far from them. Your life is too risky to stay close. If you have a family, they expect you to stay quiet and keep your distance. They don't ask where you go at night or why your hands are rough from climbing walls. They might guess you're up to something, but they don't want to know. It's safer that way, for them and for you. You're like a ghost, floating through the city without strong ties to anyone. Being an assassin means letting go of things most people hold tight, like family dinners or hugs on cold days. You tell yourself it's better this way. If you're caught, nobody you love gets hurt. If someone tries to find you, they won't look at your family because you've stayed away. But sometimes, late at night in your tiny attic hideout, you feel a tug in your chest. You miss the sound of laughter, the smell of soup cooking, or the way a warm house feels after a long day. You push those thoughts down, but they're still there, like a pebble in your shoe. If you're a woman, your life as an assassin is even trickier. The city has rules about what women should do. Most women weave cloth, sell bread, or take care of kids. They wear long dresses and stay in bright, busy places where people can see them. But you're different. You wear a plain cloak, not a dress, and you move through dark alleys, not sunny markets. To do your job, you have to hide twice, once as an assassin, and once as a woman pretending to be something else. You might dress as a maid, carrying a basket of laundry to blend in. Nobody looks twice at a maid, so you can slip past guards with their shiny spears. Or maybe you act like a healer, with a bag of herbs and a kind smile. People trust healers, and that trust lets you get close to places you shouldn't be. These disguises are like masks, hiding who you really are. Under the maid's apron or the healer's shawl, you're an assassin with a dagger tucked away and a plan in your head. It's hard to live this way, always pretending, but it's how you survive. Being a woman in this world means following rules you don't like. Men can walk alone at night, but women are supposed to stay home. Men can carry swords, but women are expected to hold needles or pots. You break those rules every day, but you do it quietly so nobody notices. If people knew you were an assassin, they'd be shocked, not just because of the danger, but because you're a woman doing a man's job. You don't care what they think. You're good at what you do, and that's enough. Whether you're a man or a woman, your role in the city is clear. Stay hidden, do your job, and don't get caught. But even with all these limits, you find ways to fight back, to feel like you're more than a shadow. These moments are small, but they matter. Maybe you catch someone's eye in the market, a baker's son with a shy smile, and you let yourself smile back just for a second. It's a tiny act of defiance, a way to say, I'm still here, still human. Or maybe you tuck a coin into a secret pocket, saving it for a day you might not believe in. a day when you could leave this life and start new. These acts are like sparks, small but bright, keeping you going. You walk through the city now, your boots soft on the muddy cobblestones. The air smells of rain and smoke, and the streets are full of people doing their own roles. A man pushes a cart of apples, shouting prices. A woman kneels by a stream, washing clothes with red hands. Kids run past, laughing, their faces dirty but happy. Everyone has a place, a job that keeps the city moving. Your place is different, hidden, but it's still part of the big picture. You think about your family again if you have one. Maybe they live in a small house on the edge of the city with a garden of carrots and a creaky door. Maybe they're far away in a village you haven't seen in years. If you visit them, it's rare and you don't stay long. You might bring a gift, a loaf of bread or a few coins, and leave before anyone asks questions. You want them to be safe, so you keep them far from your world of secrets and danger. It hurts to stay away, but it's the only way. If you're alone, with no family left, you still feel the weight of what family means. The city is full of families, mothers hugging kids, brothers sharing a joke, fathers teaching sons to fish. You see them and wonder what it's like to have that closeness. You don't let yourself dwell on it. Instead, you focus on your role as an assassin. You're free in a way, with no one to answer to but yourself. But that freedom comes with a price, loneliness, like a cold wind that never stops. You pass a market stall where a woman sells wool, her fingers quick as she spins it into thread. She's doing her role, just like the blacksmith hammering iron or the priest praying in the church. You admire her focus, the way she knows her place. Your place is harder to define. You don't spin wool or make shoes. You climb walls, pick locks, and vanish into the night. Your role is to be invisible, to do what others can't or won't. It's not a role anyone cheers for, but it's yours, and you're good at it. If you're a woman, you think about the extra work it takes to fit in. You've learned to walk like a maid, with small steps and a bowed head. You've practiced a healer's gentle voice, saying kind words to hide your sharp mind. These tricks let you move through the city, past guards and nosy neighbors. But they also make you tired, because you're always acting, never just being yourself. In quiet moments, you let the masks slip. Maybe you laugh at a bird stealing bread or hum a tune from your childhood. These are your moments of defiance, proof that you're more than your role. You stop by a stone wall, leaning against it to rest. The city buzzes around you, a cart rattles by, a dog barks, a man shouts about cheap fish. You watch it all, feeling like you're part of it but also a part. Your role as an assassin sets you outside the normal world. You don't have a family to go home to or a shop to open each morning, but you have your skills, your courage, and your small acts of rebellion. They're enough to keep you going, even when the days are long and the nights are cold. You think about the coin in your pocket, the one you saved for a future you don't quite believe in. Maybe one day you'll use it to buy a little house far from the city's dangers. Maybe you'll grow flowers or bake bread, living a simple life with no secrets. It's a dream, soft and fragile, but it's yours. For now, you're an assassin, tied to your role, shaped by the city's rules about family and gender. But in your heart, you're also something more, someone who dreams, who fights, who hopes. You push off the wall and keep walking, your cloak flapping in the breeze. The city is alive, and you're part of it, even if nobody knows your name. Your family, your gender, your role, they're pieces of you, but not all of you. You carry them quietly, like the dagger under your cloak, and you find ways to be free even in a world that tries to hold you down. The night is dark, with only a few stars peeking through the cloudy sky. You walk quietly through the city, your cloak pulled tight against the chilly air. As you pass a small open square, you see a glow ahead, orange and flickering. It's a funeral pyre, a big pile of wood burning bright, with flames that snap and pop like tiny thunderclaps. People stand around it, their faces soft in the firelight, singing low, sad chants that mix with the crackle of the blaze. They're saying goodbye to someone who died, sending them off with songs and fire. You're an assassin, someone who lives in secrets and shadows, but this scene makes you stop. You think about death, what you'll leave behind, and what happens after you're gone. You stay at the edge of the square, hidden in the dark where nobody notices you. The pyre smells like burning wood and something sharp, maybe herbs tossed into the flames. The chants are slow, with words you don't fully understand, but they feel heavy, like they're carrying the dead person's spirit away. The mourners wear plain clothes, some with tears on their cheeks, others standing still, staring into the fire. A woman holds a child's hand, whispering something soft. A man throws a stick into the flames, watching it catch light. This is how the city says farewell, with fire and songs, letting the dead move on. You've seen death before, it's part of your job. As an assassin, you sneak through alleys, climb walls, and sometimes end lives for coins. You do like it, but it's what you do to survive. You've watched people fall, their eyes wide with surprise, or heard their last breath in a quiet room. Those moments stay with you like shadows that never leave. But this funeral pyre is different. It's not about your work. It's about normal people saying goodbye to someone they loved. It makes you wonder what your own death will be like. You think about how you might die. Will it be quick, like a sharp blade in a dark street, over before you feel it? Or will it be slow, maybe betrayed by a friend who sells your secrets for a handful of silver? You've made enemies in this city, other assassins, guards, or rich folks who know your face. Any of them could turn on you. You picture yourself hiding in an alley, blood on your cloak, waiting for the end. Or maybe you'll be caught, locked in a cold dungeon with chains on your wrists. These thoughts make your stomach twist, but you can't push them away. Death is close in your world, like a wolf waiting just out of sight. You watch the mourners again. One of them, an old man with a bent back, places a small coin on a wooden box near the pyre. You know what it's for. People believe in a ferryman, a mysterious figure who rows souls across a dark river to the afterlife. The coin pays for the ride so the dead can rest in peace. It's a story everyone in the city knows, even you. You don't have a coin ready for your own ferryman, but you wonder if you'll need one. Will anyone care enough to put a coin in your hand when you're gone? The graves in the city are simple, not fancy like in big churches. Most are marked with rough wooden crosses, carved with a name or just a scratch to show someone's there. You've seen them outside the city walls, rows of crosses in the grass, some leaning from years of wind and rain. Rich people get stone tombs, but you're not rich. If you die, your grave will be plain, maybe not even marked. The thought makes you feel small, like a leaf that falls and disappears. What will you leave behind? And nobody knows your real name, not even the other assassins you sometimes work with. Your legacy, the mark you leave on the world, might just be whispers, stories of a shadow who slipped through the night. You shift your weight, feeling the cobblestones under your boots. The pyre burns lower now, the flames turning to glowing coals. The chants fade and the mourners start to leave, their footsteps soft in the quiet night. You stay a little longer, thinking about the afterlife. People in the city believe in heaven, a bright place with golden gates where good souls go. They also talk about hell, a dark, fiery pit for those who did bad things. You're not sure where you'd end up. You've done bad things, taken lives, but you had to. You pray sometimes in quiet chapels asking for forgiveness. You hope it's enough, but you don't know. The air smells of ash now, and the square feels empty without the mourners' voices. You turn and walk away, your cloak brushing the ground. The city is still alive, even at night. You hear a dog bark, a cart creak, and the soft hum of a woman singing somewhere far off. These sounds remind you that life goes on, even when death is near. You want to be part of that life, to keep moving, to keep breathing. But the funeral pyre stays in your mind, a picture you can't erase. You think about the people you've known who died. There was an old assassin who taught you how to climb walls. He was tough, with scars on his hands, but kind in his own way. One day he didn't come back from a job. You never found out what happened, but you imagine him caught by guards or betrayed by someone he trusted. You lit a candle for him in a chapel, hoping he found peace. Then there was a girl who sold apples in the market, always smiling. She got sick one winter and her stall stayed empty. You left a flower by her grave, a small thing nobody saw. These people left marks on you, even if their legacies were quiet. You wonder what your legacy will be. Will anyone remember you? Maybe another assassin, years from now, will hear a story about a sneaky shadow who tricked guards and vanished like smoke. Maybe they'll admire you, or maybe they'll forget your name. You don't want fame, not like a knight who wins tournaments and gets songs sung about him. But you want something, a small piece of you to stay in the world. Maybe it's a coin you gave to a hungry kid, or a time you helped a friend escape trouble. Those moments are your legacy, tiny but real. You walk through a narrow street, the buildings leaning close like they're listening. The night is cool and your breath makes little clouds in the air. You think about the afterlife again. The priests say good people go to heaven where there's no pain or hunger. You imagine a place with soft grass, warm sun, and laughter where you could rest without fear. But you also think about hell with its flames and screams. You've done things that might send you there, but you hope God sees why. You didn't choose this life, it chose you, and you're doing your best. You pass a church, its wooden door closed tight. A single lantern hangs outside, casting a yellow glow. You don't go in, but you pause, looking at the cross carved above the door. It's a reminder of the stories you've heard since you were a kid, stories of mercy, forgiveness, and a life after this one. You want to believe them. You want to think there's a place for you, even with blood on your hands. You touch the dagger under your cloak, its handle smooth and familiar. It's part of you, but so is the hope in your heart. The city keeps moving around you. A man stumbles out of a tavern, laughing too loud. A cat jumps onto a wall, its eyes glinting. The wind carries the smell of bread even this late. You're alive, and that's what matters now. Death will come, maybe soon, maybe years from now. You can't stop it, but you can decide how you live until then. You'll keep doing your job, sneaking and hiding, but you'll also keep hopping, praying, and leaving small marks on the world. You think about the funeral pyre again, the way the flames lit up the night. It was sad, but also beautiful, like the city itself. People die, but they're remembered, even if just for a moment. You want that too, a memory, a whisper, a coin for the ferryman. You'll keep fighting for it, one quiet step at a time, in a world where death is never far away. You sit in your tiny attic hideout, a small space above a noisy tavern where the city's chatter hums below. The air smells of old wood and candle wax, and a single flame flickers on a wobbly table. In your hands, you hold a glass vial no bigger than your thumb, filled with a dark liquid. It's poison made from nightshade berries and a pinch of arsenic powder. You tilt the vial, watching the liquid swirl, careful not to spill a drop. Your work as an assassin is about death, but it's also about creating something, like an artist painting a picture. Every move you make, every tool you use, is part of a craft that's both dangerous and beautiful. You're an assassin, someone who sneaks through shadows, doing secret jobs for coins. People might think your work is just hurting others, but it's more than that. It's a skill learned over years, like a baker shaping dough or a carpenter carving wood. You mix poisons, sharpen blades, and plan each step with care. Each job is a story told quietly in the dark, and you're the one writing it. Your craft connects you to other assassins long gone who moved through cities like yours, leaving no trace but whispers. You set the vial down and pick up your dagger. It's small, with a smooth handle that fits your hand perfectly. The blade is sharp, polished until it shines like a mirror. Near the hilt, there's a single rune, a tiny mark carved deep into the metal. You don't know what it means, maybe luck or strength, but it feels special, like a secret only you understand. When you hold the dagger, it's like part of you, an extension of your arm, your will. It moves when you move, quick and silent, ready to do what you ask. You stand and step into the center of the attic, where the floor creaks softly. You practice with the dagger, swinging it in slow arcs, imagining a target in front of you. Your wrist flicks and the blade cuts the air so fast it hums. You step forward, then back, your boots light on the wood. Every motion is careful, like a dance you've practiced 1,000 times. You're not just fighting, you're creating, building a moment that's yours alone. The dagger feels alive, like it knows your thoughts, and together, you make something powerful. You pause, breathing steady, and think about the poison again. Making it is a craft all its own. Yesterday, you sat at this table, grinding nightshade berries with a stone pestle. The berries were dark, almost black, and they stained your fingers purple. You crushed them until they turned to mush, then mixed in a tiny bit of arsenic, a white powder that sparkles like snow. You added water, drop by drop, stirring with a thin stick until the liquid was smooth. Each step was precise, like measuring flour for bread. One mistake could ruin it, or worse, hurt you. But you got it right, and now the vial holds a deadly creation ready for your next job. You sit again, placing the dagger next to the vial. The candlelight makes them glow like treasures in a chest. These tools are more than objects. They carry meaning, like a painter's brush or a musician's lute. They link you to the past, to other assassins who mixed poisons and swung blades centuries ago. You imagine them, men and women in cloaks, slipping through ancient streets, their hearts beating fast like yours. They're gone, but their craft lives in you, passed down through silent lessons and hidden tricks. You think about what your work means. Each job is a creation, a story told in blood. When you finish a task, maybe sneaking into a house or stopping a thief, you leave something behind, even if nobody sees it. The city changes a little because of you. A merchant sleeps safer, or a bad person doesn't hurt anyone anymore. Your work isn't kind, but it has purpose. You're not just taking lives, you're shaping the world, one quiet move at a time. You pick up the dagger again, running your thumb over the rune. It's smooth, worn from years of touch. You wonder who made this blade, who carved the rune. Was it a blacksmith with rough hands or another assassin marking it for luck? You'll never know, but it makes the dagger feel heavy with history. It's not just a weapon, it's a piece of the Brotherhood, the silent group of assassins who came before you. You're part of them, even if you work alone. You stand and practice again, this time pretending you're in a crowded market. You imagine weaving through people, your dagger hidden, your eyes sharp. You duck under an imaginary arm, step around a pretend cart, and strike at the air, quick and clean. Your body moves smoothly, like water flowing over rocks. This is your art, your creation. Every job is different, but they all start here in the quiet of your attic, where you hone your skills. You think about a job you did last month. You had to stop a man who was stealing from poor families. You spent days watching him, learning his habits, planning each step. When the night came, you climbed his wall, silent as a cat, and used a drop of poison to make him sleep forever. Nobody saw you, and the city was better for it. That job was a story, one you wrote with your craft. It wasn't pretty, but it was yours, and it meant something. You sit again, wiping sweat from your brow. The attic is warm now, the candle burning low. You think about the meaning of your work. It's not just about coins or survival. It's about being good at something, about making a mark even if it's hidden. You're not a hero, not like a knight in shining armor, but you're not nothing either. Your poisons, your dagger, your quiet steps, they're your creations, your way of saying, I was here. You look at the vial of poison, its dark liquid catching the light. It's beautiful in a strange way, like a jewel. You made it, and that makes you proud, even if nobody else will ever know. You imagine other assassins, long ago, mixing their own poisons, feeling the same pride. You're connected to them, part of a chain that stretches through time. Your craft is old, older than the city's walls, and it gives your life weight, like an anchor in a stormy sea. You lean back, the stool creaking under you. The city's sounds drift up, laughter from the tavern, a horse's hooves, a woman calling her child. You're alone, but not really. Your work ties you to others, even if they're gone. Every poison you mix, every swing of your dagger is a nod to the assassins before you. They taught you through stories and skills to be what you are. And maybe someday another assassin will learn from you, carrying the craft forward. You think about the stories your work creates. Each job is a tale told in secret. Nobody writes them down, but they live in the city's air. A guard whispers about a shadow who vanished. A merchant wonders why his enemy stopped coming. These are your legacy, small but real. You don't need a statue or a song. You need your craft, your art to mean something, even if it's just to you. You stand one last time, holding the dagger up to the candle. The rune glows and you smile just a little. This is your work, your creation, your meaning. It's not easy and it's not kind, but it's yours. You slide the dagger into its sheath, blow out the candle, and step into the dark. The city waits, and you're ready to add another story to its quiet, bloody pages. You step out of your attic hideout into the dark, chilly night. The sky above the city is thick with autumn mist, like a heavy gray blanket that makes everything fuzzy. The cold air bites at your face and sneaks under your cloak, making your bones feel icy. You pull your hood up and start walking through narrow alleys where the fog wraps around you like a soft, damp scarf. The cobblestone path is shiny with rain, slippery as a wet fish, and every step feels risky, like you might slide and fall. You move carefully, your boots finding the driest spots because as an assassin, you can't afford to make noise or get hurt. Nature is all around you, shaping your world, helping you hide, but also testing you every day. You pause in an alley, leaning against a rough stone wall. The fog is so thick you can barely see the other side of the street, just blurry shapes of houses and barrels. A black raven hops nearby, pecking at a crust of bread stuck in the mud. Its shiny eyes glint like tiny mirrors, catching the faint glow of a lantern far off. The bird doesn't care about you or your sneaky plans. It just wants its food, doing what it always does. You watch it for a moment, thinking how nature is always there, watching everything, but never taking sides. The raven flaps its wings and flies away, leaving you alone with the mist and the quiet. The city is big and busy, full of people, carts, and noise, but nature is stronger than all of that. The rain, the wind, the cold, they change how everyone lives, even you. Tonight, the mist is your friend. It hides you as you slip through the alleys, making you invisible to guards or nosy folks. Nobody can see your face or the dagger tucked under your cloak. You move like a shadow, silent and quick, using the fog to cover your path. But nature isn't always kind. The wet cobblestones could make you slip, and if you fall, you might twist an ankle or worse. Every step is a gamble, a game you play with the world around you. You keep walking, feeling the raindrops patter on your hood. The air smells fresh but heavy, like wet dirt and leaves. Autumn is here and it's changing the city. The trees along the river have turned orange and red, their leaves falling into piles that crunch under your boots. The days are shorter, with darkness coming early, which is good for your work. As an assassin, you love the night when you can sneak and climb without being seen. But autumn also brings cold that makes your fingers stiff and rain that soaks your clothes. You have to be tough, ready for whatever the season throws at you. You think about how the seasons shape your life. In spring, the city blooms with flowers and the air is warm, but mud from melting snow makes the streets messy. You have to watch for puddles that could splash and give you away. Summer is hot, with long days that keep people outside late, making it harder to hide. You sweat under your cloak and the bright sun shows every move you make. Winter is the hardest, with snow piling up and ice making every roof you climb dangerous. Your breath puffs out in clouds and you have to wrap your hands in cloth to keep them from freezing. But winter's long nights are perfect for your jobs, giving you hours of darkness to work in. Right now it's autumn and the city feels sleepy under the foggy sky. You pass a small garden where a few wilted plants lean over, their leaves yellow from the cold. A squirrel darts across the path, clutching a nut, its tail twitching as it vanishes into a crack in a wall. You smile a little, liking how animals keep going no matter what. They don't worry about guards or coins or secret plans. They just live, finding food and staying safe. You're like them in a way, always moving, always surviving, but your world is trickier, full of dangers they don't know. The rain picks up, tapping harder on your cloak. You duck under a wooden awning where a shop's sign swings in the wind. The cobblestones glisten, reflecting the dim light of a lantern across the street. You think about how water shapes the city. The river that runs through the middle is wide and brown, carrying boats with grain, cloth, and spices. It's the city's lifeblood, bringing trade that keeps everyone fed. But when it rains too much, the river swells, flooding the low streets. Now you've seen it happen, water rushing through alleys, sweeping away carts and soaking houses. Floods stop the markets, make food scarce, and drive prices up. As an assassin, you don't buy much, but even you feel the pinch when bread costs more than your coins. You step back into the rain, moving toward the riverbank. The fog is thinner here and you see the water glinting under the moonlight. It moves slowly, carrying sticks and leaves, its surface rippling like a snake's skin. You pause, watching a small boat bob along, its rower hunched against the cold. The river helps you sometimes. If a job goes wrong, you can jump in and swim to safety, or hide under a bridge until the guards give up. But it's also a danger. The current is strong, and if you're not careful, it can pull you under. Nature gives and nature takes, and you've learned to respect it. You turn away from the river and head into another alley. The rain makes the stones slick, and you test each step before putting your weight down. You think about the terrain, the ground you walk on every day. The city is built on hills, with steep paths and uneven stones. Some streets are flat, good for running, but others climb sharply, making your legs burn. You know every corner, every loose rock, every spot where you can hide. The terrain is your map, helping you plan your moves. A flat roof is perfect for jumping between buildings. A narrow alley is great for losing a pursuer, but a muddy slope can betray you, sending you sliding into trouble. You pass a tree, its branches bare except for a few stubborn leaves. A gust of wind shakes it, and a leaf falls, spinning to the ground. You watch it land in a puddle, floating for a moment before sinking. Nature is always moving, always changing, and you have to move with it. In autumn, the fog and rain are your allies, hiding you from eyes that might spot you. But they also make your job harder, soaking your cloak and chilling your hands. You've learned to adapt, to use what nature gives you and avoid what it threatens. You think about animals again. The raven you saw earlier isn't the only one in the city. Cats prowl the alleys, hunting rats, their eyes glowing in the dark. Dogs bark at strangers, loyal to their owners, but trouble for you if you're sneaking nearby. Horses pull carts, their hooves loud on the stones, warning you to stay out of sight. Even tiny creatures like mice or sparrows are part of the city's life. You watch them, learning from their quick moves and sharp senses. They survive by being fast and clever, just like you. The fog thickens as you climb a hill, and the city below disappears in a gray haze. You stop to catch your breath, feeling the cold air in your lungs. The mist makes your cloak damp and you shiver, but you don't mind. This weather is perfect for your work. Nobody's out in the rain and the fog muffles sounds, so your steps are silent. You think about a job you did last week, sneaking into a merchant's house to leave a warning note. The fog hid you then, letting you climb the wall and slip through a window without a single guard noticing. Nature was your partner, keeping you safe. You keep moving, heading toward a quieter part of the city. The rain slows to a drizzle and the cobblestones are less slippery now. You pass a small pond, its surface dotted with raindrops, where a frog croaks softly. You pause, listening to the sound, liking how it blends with the drip of water from a roof. The city is full of these small natural spots, ponds, trees, patches of grass between houses. They remind you that nature isn't just outside the walls. It's here inside the city, living alongside the people and their noise. You think about how nature affects the city's trade. When the weather is good, boats sail smoothly, bringing barrels of fish and sacks of wheat. The markets are full and people smile as they buy what they need. But when storms come or frost freezes the river, trade slows down. Shops close early and food gets hard to find. You don't buy much, living on bread and dried fruit, but even you notice when prices climb. A bad season can make everyone grumpy, and grumpy people are more likely to notice a stranger like you. You have to be extra careful when nature turns against the city. You reach a high spot where you can see part of the city through the fog. Lanterns glow like fireflies, marking streets and houses. The river twists below, a dark ribbon under the misty sky. You feel small, standing here, but also strong. Nature is huge, bigger than the city, bigger than you, but you've learned to work with it. The fog hides you, the rain washes away your tracks, the dark gives you cover. You're an assassin, and nature is part of your craft, helping you survive in a world full of danger. You start walking again, your boots quiet on the wet stones. The raven's eyes are still in your mind, cold and watchful. Nature doesn't care about your plans, but it shapes them every day. You'll use the mist tonight, slipping through alleys to check for a message or watch a target. You'll move with the rain, letting it mask your steps. And you'll keep watching the seasons, knowing they'll change how you work, how you live. In this city, nature is your ally, your challenge, and your home all at once.